Hi folks, Mike here. I'm going to have a quick game of Tank GP. So I've got a random map here I've chosen, which is track 9, the snake, so called because of this sort of snaky bit on the back here. And I'm going to select a 4 tank race, and I'm going to control one of those tanks. I'm going to do that randomly. So what I'm going to do is chuck those down there, and there are 2 face up, so I'll take those, and then I'll just pick 2 others completely at random like that. Remove the rest from the game. So what do we have here? We have the Crusader, the Sherman, the Cromwell, and the T-34. Okay, interesting. And then what we do is we look at the tank chart here and we set them up in the order of this chart. So the slower tanks are listed first down towards the fastest. So the slower tanks tend to go at the start of the grid. So the Crusader then is one of the slowest, and amongst the speeds then they're rated in kind of order of other factors. So the Crusader goes on the front of the grid there, and you can tell which hex is at the front because the numbers are higher. So 68 is better than 67 kind of thing. Yeah, so there's the finishing line. So we're going to start in the grid. Just before that, of course, the Crusader goes there. Then we've got the Sherman, which will go on hex, therefore 67 in this case. And then we're looking for the T-34, which goes on hex 65. And then we're looking for the Cromwell, goes on hex 65. Did I just say that? 66, 65. Okay, so going back like that. So the setup is dead easy. I've got a few experience points hanging around here. I'll explain what they are as we go. And that's it. Okay, actually, I was going to choose a tank randomly, but I'm going to be the Sherman just because I want to be. All right, no particular reason. It's just easier under the heat of the camera for me to remember that I'm the Sherman, because I'm used to being a Sherman in other games that I've made, of course. Yeah. All right, so let's start out. So each round then, the tanks activate in order, so front to back. And again, remember, if 2 tanks ever seem to be level, just check underneath of the numbers. The higher the number, the further forward they're deemed to be, even if they don't always appear to be. All right, so the Crusader will go first. The Crusader, of course, is an AI-controlled tank. Because I'm playing this solo, you can play this multiplayer. You could have 4 different people controlling those tanks. I could have me controlling one, and I know somebody else controlling another, and the AI controlling the other 2. So you can mix and match in that way. So great one to play with the kids, friends, and whatever. Great for a beer and pretzels game night. So the Sherman then, the Crusader, its speed is 2. It says that here, but also on the counter itself, and how clearly that comes out on the camera, but the speed is 2. So he gets 2 dice. So we roll 2 dice for the Crusader, and it's got, unfortunately for it, a 1 and a 2. So we take the highest, which is a 2. And AI tanks move like this. If the hex in front of them is clear, they will move into it the way they are facing. So he goes there, and then he goes there. All right, simple as that. Then it's my turn, because I'm controlling the Sherman. Now, player tanks, it says here, you roll a number of dice equal to the speed plus 3. So the Sherman speed is 2 as well, but I get another 3 dice because it's a player tank. So I've got 5 dice. Okay, this is a kind of push your luck game, because there are 3 speed charts here that I need to choose from. I can go slow, I can go normal, or I can go fast. And much of that depends on the kind of state of the track in front of me and what I want to do. You can see that if you go fast, there are quite a few moves, only 1 turn and 1 chance to collect XP. If you go sort of normal speed, there are fewer moves, but 1 more turn option, you still collect XP. And if you go slow, there aren't many moves, but there are plenty of turns. And you also get a chance to collect a little bit more XP, because you get your XP rating plus 1, and your XP rating is in this chart again here. And no, it's not printed on the token, actually, the XP rating is just there. So for me, because it's only players that collect XP, the AI doesn't. So for me, in my Sherman, I will get 2 XP each time I roll a 1 if I'm going fast or normal, and I'll get 3 XP each time I roll a 1 if I'm going slow. Okay, now clearly I don't really want to go slow because it's a race game. I want to go fast, but I'm conscious there is a corner coming up. Now if I go flying along this row of hexes here and out into these trees, I will crash, and that effectively means I miss my next go to repair. I don't want to do that, so I'm a little bit cautious about throwing here. I might get a 2. I've got 5 dice, it's pretty likely I will, but I also might not. And if I get too many moves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I move 6, I'm going to crash out. I mean, you could do that on a brave day, but I'm not going to. I'm going to roll on the normal chart. But before I do that, one thing I've forgotten, which I must come back to immediately before we move on, is the Crusader. When it moved, it can of course fire. Okay, now tanks fire in this game along the 6 rows of hexes emanating from their hex. So that's very similar to other tank games I've produced, to keep the line of sight rules nice and simple and to reflect the fact that line of sight from inside a tank is not ideal. There's a certain element of fog of war. So this Crusader can attack straight behind it. So what we do to attack is we count the number of hexes, 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 hexes back to this T34. I can't attack these two because they're not on the same line of hexes as it. So 1, 2, 3 back to the T34. The T34's front armor is 6. Tells us in this chart here. Front armor 6, also on the counter itself as well. So 1, 2, 3 plus 6 is 9 because we're attacking it from the front, and that would mean also the front sides. The rear would be rear or rear sides. We're attacking it from the front, so there's 3 plus 6 is 9, but we can deduct the Crusader's AP, which is 1 armor piercing value. Also printed on the counter, bringing it down to 8. So the Crusader would need an 8 to hit the T34, and it rolls an 11, which means it does. So I think to mark damage, although you do get counters to do that with the game, I'm not going to use those for a moment because they're over there. I'm going to use these red cubes, and I'm going to mark the T34 as damaged. Okay, and that's one important thing about this game, and I forgot to do it for the AI, but the important thing about this game is if you are winning, then you are always shooting at your opponent's, or usually shooting at your opponent's front armor, of course. If you are behind, you are shooting at your opponent's rear armor, which gives you a better chance, of course, of destroying them because the rear armor tends to be weaker than the front armor. Okay, that's not always the case because some, the tracks bend around, and round a corner you could be shooting across to somebody's front armor, even though they're ahead of you, and all sorts of things going on. But generally, if you are behind, you've got a better chance of shooting than if you're in front. However, the Crusader has made a successful hit on the T34, which is now damaged. Back to my turn. As I say, I'm going to go at normal speed. So I take my 5 dice, which is speed of 2 plus 3, always plus 3 for all AI tanks, for all player tanks rather, and I roll my 5 dice, and I've just come out pretty awful there. I'm not sure I don't think that's ever happened to me before. But of course, as soon as you turn the camera on, it does. Okay, now it's not a complete disaster, actually. What I've got here then is 2 turns. The 2 and the 3 are turns, you can see there, which is not much use to me at the moment because I'm not at the place where I want to turn. The 1s are actually XP. So each one is worth 2. So in fact, for that, I get 6 XP, which is quite a lot, actually. And I can spend that at any point. And one thing I can do is spend 3 XP on a skill called acceleration, which allows me to perform 1 move action subject to the normal rule. So I'm going to spend 3 XP just to move, because otherwise it's a bit embarrassing that I haven't. And I'm tempted to leave it there, actually, because I want to save this 3 XP, because it also allows me to do the cornering skill, which is a free turn action, which I might just need soon, the way my dice rolling is going already. So I'm going to save that 3 XP. I'm going to move down. And the main reason I moved 1 is because you cannot attack a tank which is adjacent to you. Okay, so if it's in an adjacent hex, you are deemed to be too close, too dangerous to fire. So for fear of being caught up in your own in the explosion kind of thing. So the Sherman, I've moved it forward 1 mainly so that I can now shoot back at this Cromwell, because he is no longer adjacent to me. Okay, remember the T34 is not in my line of sight because it's not on a row of hexes that I'm looking at, and neither is the Crusader. I would have liked to have shot that, of course, but I can't. So I'm going to shoot back at the Cromwell. It's 2 behind me. Its front armor is 7. That's 9. My AP is 2. Take that away. It's 7 to hit, and I roll an 8. So things are getting better slowly. The Cromwell is damaged as well. Okay, so that just gives you another little insight into the fact that the slower tanks that start at the front often do get that early shot back at the tanks behind them. Of course, they don't always hit, but we both did this time, so that's good. That's the Sherman done. Then we go to the next tank, which is the T34. Because it's damaged, it takes its whole activation to repair. Okay, that's all it can do. And if it was a player, they're not allowed to spend any XP on that turn. All they can do is repair. And the Cromwell then goes in last place, and all it can do is repair. Right? And that's the end of that round. Now we go to the next round and we start again. The Crusader goes first. Okay, so when you repair, you can't fire either. I should just clarify. All you can do is repair. That's it. Which is a free, which is an automatic thing. You don't have to roll any dice or anything. So the Crusader goes again. It's an AI tank. Its speed is 2. It rolls 2 dice. It gets a double 3. So the highest dice rolled is 3. So it moves like this. 1, because the hex is clear. 2, because the hex is clear. The next hex isn't clear. It's off track. So what it will do then is turn. And when an AI tank turns, it always turns towards the highest adjacent hex. Okay, it's on number 7, so it will always turn in this case to face number 9. Okay, there's 6, 8, 9. It will always turn to face hex number 9. So we'll go like that. Okay. Now, the vast majority of the time, these turns will be intuitive. They will just turn as you would expect them to. But the numbering is there just to make sure that everything works okay around some of the more fiddly areas. Okay, so we always have to take that into account. Now, of course, it can now fire again because it's moved. You move first and then see whether you can fire. An AI tank will always fire at the tank. Obviously, it's got to be in line of sight, but once we've established that, it will, if it's got a choice, it will always shoot at the tank furthest ahead. Here it only has one option, which is to shoot at the T-34 again. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 6, which is the front armor of the T-34. That's 11, minus its 1 AP is 10. So you can see, further away it gets, less chance. Still got a chance. It needs a 10. It gets a 6. The T-34 is unscathed. And that's the end of the Crusader's turn. Back to me in the Sherman. Again, I've got 5 dice, remember. Let's hope I can move a bit this time. I've got 3 XP in the bank, so I have got a chance to do a free turn if I want to. Although, of course, I don't really want to use XP to do that, but I can if I want to. So I'm going to go normal speed again here, I think, on the basis that, or do I go fast? No, actually, I'm going to go fast because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... So I need to move 7 before I went off track because I know I've got a free turn. I think I'll be okay. Let's roll for fast. Oh, blimey, look at all those 1s again. So 3 more 1s gives me another 6 XP. I have to grow a bit more. I didn't envisage having that much. So another 6 XP gives me 9 total. You can have 10 maximum. So I need to start spending some before I can collect too much more. In fact, any more, because obviously 9 can't, well, I can collect 1 more, obviously. So that's 3 traded in for the XP. So 6 XP onto my 3 gives me 9. And I've got a 4 and a 5, which are on the normal speed, both moves. So I can. I've got to use moves. Okay, I should probably have said that at the start. So here you must use all move and move 2 results. Okay, you have to use your moves. You don't have to use your turns, but you have to use your moves. And that's why you've got to be careful around corners and things, because if you don't get enough turns, you will crash out. Crashing out is the same effect as being hit by an enemy. You're damaged for a turn. So I've moved 2. I've got lots of XP. Question is, do I want to do anything with that? And this is where you have to sort of think about what the other tanks are likely to do. He's not going to bother me. He's not really going to bother me. He probably is. Do I want to take a shot? And I'm going to spend some XP because I want to just get it back down. I'm going to spend 3 XP on acceleration to perform a move action. And then I'm actually going to spend another 3, I think, just to get rid of some, to turn, which is a cornering skill, perform a turn action subject to normal rules. So I'm going to turn there. Okay, so that's me done with my maneuvers. I can then assess whether I can fire. I can't shoot at this Crusader, even though it's in my kind of line of sight because it's right adjacent to me, so I can shoot at the Cromwell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 7 is 12, minus my 2 AP is 10 to hit the Crusader. And I get a 4, which is a miss. So that's me done. So down here, again, remember 2 tanks look like they're level. Just quick check underneath tells me that the T-34 is winning because he's on a higher numbered hex. So the T-34 goes next. His speed is 2, so we roll 2 dice. Oh dear, he gets a double 2. So the highest is 2, so he goes 1, 2, simple as that. But then he can fire, but he can only fire at the Crusader. That's not a bad thing for me, of course. 1, 2, 3, the Crusader's rear armor, because this is coming from the back side, is 4. So that's a 7 to hit, minus 3. It only needs a 4. Only needs a 4. And he gets a 9. So the Crusader is, for the time being, damaged. Then we come to the Cromwell. This could be problems for me. Cromwell is speed 3, so he's got 3 dice. and he gets a 4, 5, 5, so he will move 5. Let's see how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the next hex is not vacant, so he will try to turn, but he's already facing the highest hex out of his adjacent to his hex. Okay, and again, that will be obvious because he clearly wouldn't turn to the left and go up there, and he wouldn't turn back. So, you know, he can't go in these trees because it's not that's off track. The track are only the numbered lighter hexes. So he will actually, for his final move, he would have moved into my hex. Okay, but the rules say if a tank lands on the same hex as another tank, you return it to its previous hex with the facing that it had when it left that hex, so it will actually stay there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, return it to there. Now it will try and, it's not damaged, it's just blocked in that sense. Okay, it's just blocked. Tanks don't crash into each other, they just block each other. So the Cromwell's kind of about to slam its brakes on because of me, and it's stopped there. It can't shoot me because I'm adjacent, and it's not got line of sight to the other two tanks, so it cannot fire, which is good news for me, certainly in terms of shooting me. So the Cromwell was at the back, so that's another round completed. Now we go to a new round. I am on number 8. The Crusader is, I think, 7 under here. Yeah, so I am winning, which is, again, fairly obvious, yeah, from the layout. So I get to go first. I've got 5 dice, and I'm going to go, because I've got 3 XP in the bank, which gives me a free turn, I'm going to go normal speed, actually, I think, here, because this is a bit windy. I do need a couple of turns to get around this first bit here. So let's see what I get. Ooh, that might not be good. That might not be too good. Oh, XP. Oh, okay. So double 1. I can't believe I've thrown so many 1s. That's 4 XP for me. You will not usually have abundance of XP like this, trust me. But then you probably roll more turns than I'm doing. So a 6 is a move 2. Now a move 2 action means you have to move 2 hexes the way you are facing, one after the other. You can't split that. Okay, so I'm going to use that first of all to move 2 like that. And then I'm going to pay 3 XP for the cornering skill. And I'm going to turn. And a turn is always 1 hex edge, I should have said earlier, always 1 hex edge only. And then I'm going to use my 2 5s, which are both single moves, to go 1, 2. Actually, that's not too bad then, it's not too bad. So next time I need to turn and then come around, so. And I've got XP to do. I could pay XP now to turn, but I might as well save it, because I might roll a load of turns next, on my next activation, in which case I'd want to use these XP for something else, probably acceleration or something. So let's leave me there. Can I shoot? Yes, I can. This is one of those situations which is pretty cool, because I can shoot across here. Look, on this row of hexes, I can shoot right across to the T-34. So I'm shooting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. There are no obstacles. Nothing blocks line. Buildings and hills would block line of sight, but there aren't any of those. Trees would add 1 to the value required, but there are none of those. Nice clear shot through there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His front armor, because I'm still coming front side, is 6. That's 11. Minus 2 is 9. So I need a 9 to hit, but you never know. I've got a 9. Nice. Oh, that feels good. That feels good. Great shot through the trees. Well, between the trees, I should say. That's me done. Bring it round to the Crusader, who is damaged, so we'll simply repair. Remember, that's all he can do. The Cromwell then gets his 3 dice. And he rolls 3, 4, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now he's landed on a green arrow. These green arrows mean nothing to player tanks. So player controlled tanks, I just ignore those. If an AI tank lands on a green arrow, and finishes on it, I should say, finishes all its maneuvers on it, which this Cromwell has just done, it will then automatically, as a free action, turn to face that arrow. Okay, and this is the way that the game gets the AI to sort of cut corners. Not all the time, it won't just follow this green route, of course, only if it lands on the various arrows. He did here, so now you can see he's cutting this corner. Rather than going sort of right around there, he's coming down here. So it just adds a bit of variety to the paths that the tanks take. So that's what he does. He will then shoot, and he actually has the Crusader and me in the line of sight, but the AI rule is that it will always shoot the tank that's winning, in other words, one that's on the highest hex. And therefore it will shoot me, unfortunately. So 1, 2, 3, and then 5 is my armor. That's 8 minus 2 AP. It just needs a 6. Now, it just needs a 6 to hit. I can use XP here for the tough skill, which will add 1 point to my defensive total. So the question is, do I want to do that? I could, if I get hit, everyone's going to start catching me up and it's going to become a bit of a nightmare again. So I'm tempted to increase the 6 to 7, 8, 9. I'd like to keep 1 XP because if I earn 2 more, it gives me the chance to do cornering and acceleration, which are really useful. So I think I'll do that and make the hit 9 instead of 6, which is quite a big difference. So the Cromwell now needs a 9 to hit. Obviously, I'll be cross if he does. He gets a 5. Actually, would have missed anyway, but never mind. So he misses, which is great. The Crusader, so we've done the Crusader heal repaired, remember. The Cromwell then moved past it. So now we're back to the T-34. That's damaged as well, so that will just repair. And we move on to the next round. And it's my turn again. And this is a nicely spread race. The T-34 is really struggling. It's hardly moved. The other two are doing all right. And I'm well out in front, which is not common. And we'll see how long that lasts. It's always tricky for players to get through these kind of turns. The AI tends to be better at it, so we'll see if they catch me up. So I'm going to go again with my 5 dice. Now I need a turn, and then I need at least 2 turns here. So actually what I'm going to do is move slowly. Or am I? Or do I take a risk and go normal? On the basis that 2 and 3 are turns, and also if I roll a 1, of course, that will give me effectively a turn, because I can add that 2 XP to this one, and that allows me to do the cornering skill. I've got 5 dice. Am I likely to get at least 2 in the 1, 2, 3 bracket? You would think so, wouldn't you? Or do I just take it easy and hope to get more XP? Is there any point in trying to shoot back? I could shoot back at the Crusader. Can't really shoot back at the Cromwell because his hill will be in the way if I get around here. I could go out here and shoot him, but that's taking the corner wide. Okay, I think I am going to go normal. Okay, normal. That's, yeah, all right. That's worked out all right, actually. In fact, it's a good job I went normal. Turned out with the right decision. Didn't get any XP, but I got plenty of moves. Got plenty of turns. Got 3 turns and actually just the 2 moves. So I'm going to turn using a turn, and then I'm going to move, and then I'm going to turn. And then I'm going to move. In fact, yeah, then I'm going to use the other turn to turn again. So that worked out quite well, to be honest, because I'm ready then to go down that way. Remember, you don't have to use all the turns. I did, but you don't have to. And you don't have, but you do have to use all the moves. So actually it worked out pretty well for me. And I can't shoot anyone, unfortunately, but yeah, not to worry. So that's me done. The Cromwell then will come next. So he's going to start really catching me up here, I think 5. So he goes 1, 2, 3, then he'll turn to face the highest numbered hex because he's facing a hill. That's 4, and 5 takes him to there, and then he gets a free turn because he's on an arrow, so he takes that corner narrowly. So he's right up behind me. He's right up behind me again. The Crusader gets a 6 and a 2, so he takes the 6, and again he's going to come 1, 2, 3, turn to face the highest, 4, 5, 6, and he stays there for now. Yeah, he couldn't shoot. You know, he can shoot. He can't shoot. He can shoot, though. The Crusader will shoot the Cromwell. So 1, 2. Back armor is only 4. That's 6. -1 is 5. Just needs a 5. And he gets a 9. So he does blast the Cromwell, which does me a favour. And finally, then the T-34, who will no doubt really be anxious to get going, gets a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he'll want to get back into range because his AP is 3. So he's going to want to come behind and start blasting people, no doubt. You certainly can't rule him out at this stage. That's the end of that round. We start another round. So let's not mix this XP up, Mike. That's mine. I've got 1 XP here. So again, still me in the lead, which is good news for me. And I'm going to go, again, I could do the turn. I'm going to go normal again. Let's just keep rolling and hoping for it. Yeah, all right, that's not so bad, not so bad. So the 1 allows me to gather 2 XP, which is useful. So the 4 I'm going to use to move. So I'm probably not showing you these dice. So maybe 4 I'm going to use to move, and then the 3 to turn, and then the 5 to move. Ooh, decisions. Okay, I've only got 1 dice left, which is a turn dice. I don't have to use that, but it's a waste if I don't. but I can't turn at this point. Well, I turn to face that way, but of course I wouldn't. No point turning to face the hill, of course. I want to be on here, so I could use my 3 XP for an acceleration skill, which will push me just down past the hill, and then I can turn. Now, it does use my XP. It means I haven't got any, but it does allow me to use the extra dice, which could be really important. So I'm going to do that. I can't shoot back. This hill's blocking line of sight here. Anyway, there's no tanks on it, but the Cromwell then will repair on its turn. And then we're looking at the Crusader, who gets another 6. So that's going to turn 1 and then 2, move there. And then it's blocked there, so it will try to turn towards the highest hex, but it's already facing the highest hex. Obviously, there's a hill here, so it won't turn there. So the third move will be onto the Cromwell, or into the same hex. And then the next move will be out the other side, that's 4. And then 5 will be a turn there because it's facing off the track. And then 6 will be straight down there. So that's what it does. And it can shoot potentially this T-34 because it is on the same line, so it's unlikely it'll hit. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexes plus 1 because it's shooting through these trees. That's 7. Its front armor, because it's coming from the front side, is 13, or is 6 rather. That makes 13, and the Crusader's AP of 1 brings it down to 12. So double 6 for the Crusader would be a bit of a Hail Mary, wouldn't it? And it's a 1-5. It's a 4. It's a 6 rather. So he misses. And finally, thanks to Cromwell repaired earlier on, the T-34 gets to go, and he really needs some decent throws. He's just not getting them. 2 and 3 keeps him well back. 1, 2, 3, and that's poor. A 2 would have been better because he'd have landed there and got a free turn to the south. But yeah, there he is, and he still can't shoot anyone. Frustratingly for him. So I'm still there. We've still got this nice spread, and I'm still out. I think these two have changed places, haven't they? But I'm still 1 out ahead for the next round. So let's go again. I've no XP, she's worrying me slightly. Let's do normal, because I really want to try and maintain this lead. Okay, so here we go. So again, I've got a couple of XP coming in. So I might be able to use those at some point. So what I'm going to do here is do a 4, which is a move, and then the 3 is a turn. And then I'm going to use the 4, which is a move, and then the 6, which is a move 2, to go 1, 2. Okay, and I'm facing off the track, but I'm just still on the track, so that's fine. Didn't crash out. And I'm down there, just increasing that lead, hopefully. The Crusader, I can't shoot anyone, by the way. The Crusader gets a 4 and a 1, so it moves 4, so he will turn, and then it'd be 2, 3, 4, down like that. Okay, remember, it doesn't use the green arrows unless he lands on them. Okay. The Cromwell, speed of 3. Did I roll 3 for the Cromwell? I think he was damaged, wasn't he? I can't remember rolling 3 for a while, but yeah. Might have rolled 2 for the Cromwell, so if I did apologise. Cromwell gets 3 dice. The highest is a 6, so here he comes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's landed on a green arrow, so he gets a free turn to the south. Okay, remember the Crusader couldn't shoot it on. The Cromwell can't shoot it on either. Can't shoot the adjacent tank, remember. But they're staying up with me. And the T-34 this time gets moving. He gets a 6, so he'll turn for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he lands on an arrow as well, so gets a free turn down there. Okay, so maybe we've concertinaed up a little bit, just a little bit. T-34, I can tell, has got his guns fully loaded. He'll be looking for one of those two at some point. Next round then, starting a new round, remember, Sherman down here. Now, I'm a bit of a tricky situation. I need to turn, and then I'm going to have to turn again fairly quick. I've got some XP, but not much. This is another one of those tricky decisions where you just need to have a think. Shooting gun doesn't really come into it, and round a corner it's unlikely I'm not going to be able to shoot back really, unless I get right around here. So I could go slow here, which would guarantee the turns. Yeah, I'm going to go slow, I think. I'm going to go slow. I might pick up some useful XP as well. Yeah, okay, so I've got a 1, so that'll give me this time 3 XP. Okay, because I'm going slow. And that's pretty good, actually. Just about what I wanted, I guess, and I could have got. So I'm going to turn with a 2. I'm going to move with a 6, because for a slow, remember, move is 6 is only a move, not a move 2. And then I'm going to turn with a 2, and then I'm going to move with a 6. Okay, remember, green arrows don't affect me. Just stay there. I can't shoot anyone. The Crusader is going to be next. He's on 28. He's on 27. Yeah, the Crusader is next. 2 dice. He gets 5, so he will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get a free turn to the south. The Cromwell, just check. Yep, can't shoot anyone. The Cromwell gets a 6. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, can't shoot anyone. Neck and neck with this Crusader, but they are starting to catch me, and I'm really concerned that when I move up here, they're going to come around that corner and take me out from the back there. So we'll see how it goes. T34 finally then gets a 4 and a 1, so he gets a 4, effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, gets a free turn again. Still can't shoot anyone, but again, we've concertinaed again. It's yes, got to get around to this finishing line. Back to me, new round. Right, I've got loads of track stretching out in front of me. I've got plenty of XP in the bank for a free turn, for a cornering skill if I need it. So I'm going to go fast this time and hope for lots of high numbers. Okay, not bad. I'd like to have seen some 6s there, but okay. The 2 gives me 2 XP. Sorry, the 1 gives me 2 XP. Then I've got 3 moves. So I go 1, 2, 3. I don't need the turn, which is a shame. Question is now, do I want to spend more XP? I would have loved to have got round that corner. If I could have just got round to hex 54, I'd have been out of their potential line of sight when they come around this corner. Can I do that? I can move and move again, but I can't then turn, and it's too much. I needed to get a 6 or 2 really in that lot. So I'm still tempted, or am I? I guess the good thing is they're likely to come around the outside of this corner. Unless they sort of, yeah, they'd have to land on here a couple of times to get on the inside. So that's one good thing. Maybe this next stretch will be more dangerous. I'm probably okay, actually. I think I might stay there. Yeah, they're not going to overtake me. I want to stay in the lead. Because if they overtook me, they would then get to go first the next round and get a bit of a lead up, which doesn't really, evens itself out of the finish, but it's still better, I think, to be in the lead if I can stay there. But I'm going to stay there. I'm going to stay there and save my XP. Okay, the Cromwell then goes next. He's got 3 dice with his 3 speed. He gets 2, 3, 5. So he moves 5. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Crusader gets a 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and none of them, fortunately the Crusader didn't come and stop there because it would have had a pop. None of those can shoot anyone. Or couldn't at the time when he, yeah. T34 then. It's a 3, 1, 2, 3, and still he's frustrated. Back to me. I've got loads of XP, so I'm just going to keep going fast now. I'm hoping to win this. Let's just re-roll that one that came out of the thing. Okay, so going fast. I've actually got 2 turns as well, and I've got a few moves here. So I'm going to move 2 with the 6, 1, 2, and then I'm going to turn with the 2. And then I'm going to move 1 with the 5 and move 1 with the 3. Because remember, I'm in this column here, so 3 there. And then I've got a turn which I can't use, but I don't have to, so that's okay. And then I think I might just pay 3 to accelerate, because I just want to get as far away as possible from these guys. I've got a good feeling about this. Good feeling. You have to trust me when I say you don't win that often. It's not tremendously hard. I think you probably win as much as any other tank, but that still gives you sort of 1 in 4. You know, it's not easy. It's not that you win every time against the AI. The Cromwell then gets a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oof. Good job I didn't get a 5, so it would have been shooting at me. It can't shoot anyone from there. The Crusader gets a 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now that can shoot at this Cromwell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rear armor is 4. That's 10 minus 1. It needs a 9. It misses with a 7. And then the T34 gets a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. and it can't fire because it's adjacent to the Crusader and nothing else is in line of sight. So again, the race has spread and I'm looking good for a good finish here, and I've got a turn in the bank here. I've got 3 XP down here for cornering, so I'm going to go fast again, and that's going to give me 4 moves, 4 single moves on the fast column. 3, 4, 4, 5, 4 moves and a turn. So I'm going to go 1, 2, turn, 1, 2, and then I'm going to pay 3 XP because what that does is take me over the finishing line, which means I am now basically unreachable. You cannot shoot at a tank that's finished, neither can a tank that's finished fire. Okay, so I can't, even if I had someone in line of sight, I couldn't fire, but I've finished. The only way I could lose is if another tank on this same round, so with its, these have all got an activation in hand, so to speak. If this Cromwell managed to get past me, then it would win because it's got further than me past the line. So whoever's on the highest hex past the finishing line within the same activation, but clearly it's not going to reach me with its limitations on movement. So I've won. The Cromwell gets a 5, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The can't shoot anyone. The Crusader gets 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a free turn there. And then the T-34 comes around the corner, and it may at last get its day in the sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's going to shoot 1, 2. It's 4 armor makes it 6 minus 3 AP. It just needs a 3. Anything but a double 1 gets that. And he hits the Crusader. So that's the end of that round, and I can move myself to the winning podium. And then we go just to finish off and see what happens. The Cromwell gets 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't shoot. Actually, it can shoot, but it's not going to reach. I mean, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the 2 sets of trees, plus 6 armor is 17, minus 2 is 50 to 15 to hit on 2 dice, which is clearly impossible. The Crusader simply repairs itself. The T-34 gets a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the end of that round. The Cromwell then gets a 6, which means it's going to come second. The T-34 gets a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a free turn. The Crusader gets a 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a free turn. Wow, it's just taking the lead back. And then it's the next round. The Crusader gets to go first because it's now winning. And it gets a 3, 1, 2, 3. And the T-34, which I think we're all rooting for, aren't we? Gets a 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they finished on the same activation, and therefore we see who's on the highest numbered hex. Clearly that's the T-34. So the T-34 managed in the end to scrape it. Yeah, I think, did I forget to fire? I think I did, didn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the Crusader could have fired on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. On front armor is 6, that's 10 minus 1. Would have needed a 9, got a 7, yeah, so let's go with what happened. I don't know if I missed the T-34 shot as well, but whatever. That is Tank GP, and is light, it's easy, and even though I say myself, it's good fun. Yeah, it's good fun. And you can knit together, several races and on different or the same track, with the same tanks. So and if you do that, the book gives you a points table to use. So, for example, if we would, on that race, I would have scored 10 points, and the Cromwell would get 7, and the T-34 would get 4, and the Crusader would have got 1 in a 4-tank race. And then we can race again on another track and add our points together, and play 3 or 4 races and build up an overall score. And that is Tank GP. Available on Amazon very soon, if not already. Thanks, guys.